Hello and welcome to Within the Frame, where we bring today's most pressing global issues into focus. I'm Kim Mok-yeon. The price of Bitcoin has soared to a new all-time high, surpassing 94,000 US dollars to break its highest price record again in just 6 days. Its value jumped over 4% from the previous day, fueling speculation that it could reach 100,000 by the end of the year. Now, this comes as the value of the crypto leader has been continuing a dramatic ascent in the 2 weeks since Donald Trump's victory in the U.S. presidential election. Market optimism was further fueled by news that Trump media is reportedly seeking to acquire a cryptocurrency exchange, raising hopes that the U.S. could become the global hub for digital assets. In addition, the recent nomination of Howard Lutnick, a known cryptocurrency advocate, as Trump's Secretary of Commerce, has further bolstered Bitcoin's bullish momentum, signaling a shift in Trump's stance on virtual currencies. For a deeper discussion on this, we're joined by Heo Jun-young, Associate Professor of Economics at Sagang University. Welcome to the program, Professor Heo.
Thanks for having me.
And also joining us is Kim Mok-yeon, Associate Professor of Economics at Yonsei University. Great to have you, Professor Kim.
Thank you for having me too.
So let's first begin with Professor Heo. After the U.S. presidential election, the cryptocurrency market, including Bitcoin, seems to have reached an inflection point. Donald Trump, who previously called Bitcoin a scam, now claims he will be the crypto president after winning this election. What's behind this dramatic shift in stance?
As you pointed out in a media interview during his first term, President-elect Trump stated, Bitcoin seems like a scam, adding, I don't like it because it's essentially a currency competing with the dollar. He further emphasized that the US dollar should be the currency of the world. But his position, his stance has been changed. His stance changed during this presidential election period. So one of the factors of such a change might be his own experience as a businessman with cryptocurrency. After selling sneakers bearing his name through cryptocurrency payment, which sold out within 2 hours of release, he experienced first time that crypto asset can be a serious business. Additionally, given that financial resources are crucial in U.S. presidential elections, he was not able to ignore the recent powerful cryptocurrency super PACs with significant funding. Finally, I think one of the other factors, like he got surrounded by a lot of crypto-friendly people, including Elon Musk. So I think these are the reasons.
Right, so he was able to experience himself, and now he's changed his mind. Now, Professor Kim, it's been about 2 weeks or so since the U.S. election. How would you assess the current state of the cryptocurrency market over this period?
Yeah, as it's pointed out earlier, so I would say it has been really a bull market. As is pointed out by Professor Heo, the president-elect and one of his main donors during the election period, Elon Musk, emphasized the role of cryptocurrency. And so the re-election of Trump reignite the optimism of the investors over the cryptocurrency market. Particularly, if you look at the price of Bitcoin, it was about $74,000 2 weeks ago, but it is now above $90,000, which means that it has increased more than 20%. To me, this is really a surprising number. Everybody knows that the cryptocurrency market is really volatile. Looking back, the price of Bitcoin in January makes us more surprising, as price was about $40,000, which is less than half of the current value. So considering the usual belief that the cryptocurrency does not have a fundamental value, but its price dynamics mainly heavily depends on the belief of the investors, the current state can continue for a while, at least until the new president-elect changes his stance on the cryptocurrency.
Right. And Bitcoin, like Professor Kim said, hit an all-time high of $94,000 after its rally following Trump's victory. Professor Heo, do you think it would be able to reach the 100,000 mark by the start of Trump's second term? And how do you foresee the future of the cryptocurrency market?
Yeah, I mean, in the short run, I think it is possible to reach $100,000 as the like price of the Bitcoin. I totally agree with Professor Sim in the sense that I mean, like, there's no fundamental value behind the crypto asset, including Bitcoin, but the recent rise in cryptocurrency prices appear to reflect expectations of the market regarding a revitalized Bitcoin market due to Trump's election. So, I mean, another important factor is now the Fed, the U.S. central bank. I mean, they are, I mean, lowering the interest rate. Another way of saying that is like now is the period of interest rate cut. So, with this expectation coupled with the period of falling interest rate, I think Bitcoin could surpass $100,000 even before Trump takes office next January. However, I like to emphasize that since Trump's mouse played a critical role in the cryptocurrency rally in these days, it is also very likely that the volatility of cryptocurrencies will depend critically upon his future stance toward cryptocurrency. So I think the investors should be very careful about like changes in his stance about cryptocurrency.
Right, so we should watch how it fluctuates over the time. Now, one of the key factors affecting the crypto market is Trump's campaign promise to include Bitcoin as a U.S. strategic asset. Professor Shim, how likely is this promise to be realized, and what challenges could we face?
I guess that his promise, unless the inclusion of Bitcoin in the US strategic asset, is likely to be held after Trump enters the White House, because he will be likely to be supported by the Republican Party, which also dominates both the Senate and House of Representatives. It has been reported that more than $150 million has been donated by the cryptocurrency industry to make the Congress cryptocurrency friendly. In addition, Elon Musk, who will lead one of the new government departments, is well known for his preference over the cryptocurrency. So the two main bodies of the government, the legislative branch and administration, have coincidence of preference over the cryptocurrency, which makes me to believe that the new government will set and conduct policies favorable for, say, the Bitcoin. And I also think that such a policy would be supported by many investors in the market because it can potentially increase the gain from the asset market.
Right, so it's a very feasible campaign pledge that he made. Now, aside from strategic assets, what other aspects of Trump's cryptocurrency policies should we pay attention to, Professor Ha?
Oh, I like to make three important points about his like view about the cryptocurrency. So first of all, his strong opposition to central bank digital currencies, which is called CBDCs. Trump has continuously expressed the view that CBDCs are merely a means for the government to monitor and control individual free financial transactions and economic activities. So I think nowadays a lot of central banks in the world, they, I mean, like push so hard to get the CBDC in practice. But I mean, this kind of stream, I mean, this kind of like direction maybe has been limited by the Trump policy. Second, the importance of Bitcoin mining locations. Trump has been emphasizing that Bitcoin mining should be conducted entirely within the United States. So far, the Bitcoin mining has been conducted in a country with low electric price. But this implies fostering the domestic mining industry while imposing disadvantages on Bitcoin mined in other countries. Finally, Elon Musk's growing influence with the US government is the last factor. So Musk, who played a critical role in popularizing the meme coin, so-called Dogecoin, is now taking on significant responsibilities in the government, raising the likelihood that he could influence regulatory policies related to Bitcoin. This might be the last issue to think about.
Right. Thank you for the clear explanation on that. But Professor, Trump officially nominated Howard Lutnick, the CEO of Cantor Fitzgerald, an investment bank known for its pro-cryptocurrency stance, as a Secretary of Commerce in his administration. What do you think, what impact will this have on the virtual asset market in the future?
Oh, at the very beginning of this program, you mentioned about his appointment and the importance of it. I mean, the Department of Commerce, which oversees industrial and economic policies of the United States, is a massive agency with an annual budget of $11 billion and 51,000 employees. It oversees and supervises areas such as semiconductors, which might have critical impact on the Korean economy, also cybersecurity and patents. Lutnick, who has worked in the financial industry for a long time, is favorable toward Bitcoin and other crypto assets. He has argued that Bitcoin should be classified as a commodity like gold or oil. Lutnick is also pointed out as the one who changed Trump's previously negative stance on crypto assets. So Lutnick's appointment is expected to accelerate the deregulation of the cryptocurrency market overall. Also, he's kind of very close person to Elon Musk. So maybe they are in the same boat.
Right. And with the surge in Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies after Trump's election win, there's growing interest in whether South Korea might delay its tax implementation on crypto-based incomes scheduled for next year. Professor Shim, what are the main issues surrounding cryptocurrency income taxation in the nation?
There seem to be two diverging views on the crypto-based incomes. The current ruling party in Korea wants to delay it, mainly for two reasons. First, it may lower the motives of the young people to save, especially the 30s and 40s who take larger portions of crypto investors. According to the government, more than 50% of investors are around their 30s and 40s. Given that these generations are important for saving because they take large portions and they can make a lot of money from their workplaces, taxing them might lower the incentive to save, which can potentially lower investment in the Korean economy that drags down the Korean economy. Second, the uncertainty surrounding the crypto asset needs to be resolved so that the government is more clear about how the particular assets should be taxed. Minjo Party, which dominates the Congress, seems to have the opposite view. The crypto asset should be treated in the same way with other types of assets for fairness, and taxing additional income can lower the government deficit, which has been the problem in South Korea for several years, which can be helpful for the Korean economy in the long run. And moreover, there seem to be views that uncertainty itself cannot be the reason why an income should not be taxed, which I also agree with.
Right. And what about Professor Ha? If South Korea proceeds with taxing cryptocurrency income, do you anticipate that the domestic market would face further contraction? What's your outlook?
Yeah, I think it has a contractionary effect on their market volume. In the domestic market, the daily trading volume of cryptocurrencies reaches approximately 2 trillion won right now. But income generated from cryptocurrencies is not yet subjection to taxation, as Professor Shin mentioned about. Now it's debate is ongoing. So recently, with the rise in cryptocurrency prices, the market and industry are becoming more active. However, if taxation is imposed, the post-tax returns are expected to decrease, which could have a negative impact on the market in terms of trading volume. So there's a recent research showing that if a 20% tax on cryptocurrency is implemented, it can generate up to 1 trillion Korean won in annual tax revenue. So this means that this part of the money will be gone by taxation. So market participants are likely to make investment on crypto asset with this possibility in mind. I think this will have the kind of negative, contraction impact on the crypto market volume.
Right, so we are currently worried about the trading volume. It could drop. But what about the situation in overseas? Aren't there countries that are already imposing taxation on crypto assets?
Yeah, I mean, many like advanced economies are taxing on crypto assets. So currently, the United States taxes cryptocurrency income at a rate of up to 37%, the UK up to 20%, France at 30%, and Germany and Japan up to 45%. So the government of these countries are also likely to aware that taxing cryptocurrency income could have a negative impact on the market, as I mentioned about. However, in line with the principle that there should be taxes where income exists and compared to other investment assets. So they tend to do so from the perspective of fairness and efficiency of levying taxes. I think the delay in taxation in Korea is not so much due to infrastructure or practical issues, but is largely driven by political reasons. So this is why we need to take it seriously, the cases of these advanced countries.
Right. And also, aside from cryptocurrencies, the so-called Trump trade that has shaken both domestic and global financial markets seems to be losing momentum. For starters, Professor Shim, what is this Trump trade and what's your assessment of it?
Yeah, the Trump trade refers to big swings, particularly in the financial markets, that result from the president-elect's policy preference, such as high tariffs and less tight regulations on firms. So in terms of the exchange rate at first, while it has been stabilized over the last week from about 1,410 won per dollar to 1,394 won per dollar, which lowered by about 1%. I think that we cannot still be reassured at this moment. Compared to a year ago, Korean won has depreciated by about 8%, while the exchange rate has fluctuated a lot. There is a clear tendency that Korean won has been depreciated a lot compared to the US dollar over the years. In that sense, it is not the time that we can really relive. Looking back the period when Trump was the US president between 2017 and 21, the exchange rate did not rise that much. So given that the value of Korean won is already at a historically low level, except during the IMF crisis, maybe the exchange rate would be stabilized at the current level. And my stance on the stock market is also similar. While there was a short rally after Trump's re-election, the Kospi index in particular is still at the lowest level during the last 1 year. So I would say that the Kospi or Kosdaq index might rise again, but maybe the main force behind the rally would not be just the return of Trump, who is favorable for the financial markets. Maybe it can be just a timing issue of the market to rise again, which we usually call as mean reversion.
Right, so there could be a lot of factors that could attribute to that. Now, with the Trump administration's second term on the horizon, the U.S. has redesignated South Korea as a currency watch list country. What are the reasons behind this move, and what impact could it have on South Korea's economy?
Yeah, most important reason is the fact that Korea experienced trade surplus with the U.S. and substantial current account surplus. A country is designated as a currency watch list country by the U.S. if it passes two of the three criteria. If the trade surplus with the U.S. exceeds $15 billion, the current account surplus exceeds 3% of GDP, and net purchase of the US dollar exceeds 2% of GDP. And thus, it was a natural consequence as the Korean economy has trade and current account surplus during this year. So while the redesignation does not have any direct impact on the Korean economy at this point, it can have a long-run effect as it may affect the stance of the of Trump when he takes the office. Given that his stance is to maximize the revenue or the benefit of the U.S. economy, he can push the current economy to lower trade surplus, maybe through increasing tariffs, pushing firms to produce more within the territory of the U.S., and pushing the Korean won to be kind of appreciated. And I think all of them will be able to lower the trade surplus, which will have the negative impacts on the Korean economy because we really heavily rely on trade surplus.
Right, so we'll have to keep a close eye on what Trump's next move would be in January. Now, in the broader financial markets, how do you see the U.S. dollar's position evolving over the next year in light of Trump's policies and global inflationary pressures?
Yeah, the answer is not that clear because I have a mixed view on this issue. And so there seems to be a large uncertainty surrounding the US dollar at this moment. The policy of the new US government, including protectionism, can be a negative factor for inflation. It pushes up the production cost as well as the market prices because the tariff will increase the price of the imported goods. And so there will be a kind of inflationary pressure that has been stabilized a lot for the last year. This may delay the Fed's decision to lower the interest rate further because they really worry about the inflation rising again. So keeping higher interest rate means that investors would need more US dollar to invest in the US because it is higher rate of return, making the US dollar more expensive. So in this sense, there is a force to make the US dollar strong. However, different from his first term, the situation is somewhat different. The government debt has accumulated a lot since the COVID-19 crisis, and the interest rate is still much higher than when he was in the White House. So these two facts may push Donald Trump to push the Fed to lower the interest rate and not to take too extreme trade policy than we expect. So this may lower the value of the US dollar, which contracts the first that I just mentioned. So overall, whether the US dollar becomes stronger or not really depends on which factor dominates the other. So what I say is that we cannot be that sure at this point whether the US dollar will be appreciated or depreciated.
Right, of course. But still, thank you so much for clarifying the situations and scenarios. I'm afraid we'll have to wrap up our discussion here. Many thanks again to Professor Shim and Professor Ha for sharing your expertise tonight. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us on Within the Frame. Be sure to tune in next time as we continue to explore the stories that matter. Until then, stay informed and engaged.